The forest has been one of my primary subjects, and coming from Michigan, I landed in a totally different landscape here in Santa Fe. But we have forests up in the mountains, and particularly aspen forests, which actually we see behind me. And so that's been a subject matter that I love to play off on the patterns. And I mean, aspens are just beautiful. And when you have a whole grove of them, like we're lucky to have here in our mountains, it's pretty amazing. In the fall, it becomes kind of like a national park in the sense of the people that come from all over the country or beyond. And you see it just in the cars that get parked along the trailheads. We spent our childhood vacations, or just whenever we could get away, camping, canoeing, and always along a river or a lake. So that just feels natural to me. Being exposed to being comfortable in nature. I mean, I should say more comfortable even than around people, but that's another story. I sort of live in that world just by painting those scenes and recalling it in my mind and trying to bring the emotion into it and the mystery that I feel. So that sort of keeps my mind there. And you have a relationship with your favorite spots if you've been up there. I mean, just to look up at the mountains, which I'm looking at through the window, I have a relationship with it. And so it just kind of stays with me all the time. There's an energy to applying something. It carries an energy, whether it's, you know, a gestural expression of how you paint, but also whether it's watery, drippy, or thick. Sometimes I add a bodied medium like wax, and so it has a texture. So all those things have expressive energy. I was in a kind of a spiritual tradition. I had a teacher from India, and I was pretty intense in my early 20s, as we can be sometimes. And I chose instead to spend a year in the woods in Michigan, where I was pretty isolated. I had no radio or television, and basically all I did during that period was my art and yoga and meditation, and it was pretty intense, and that lasted about a year. But it was kind of my grad school. I think it had a very influential effect on my work. The landscape that I came from in Michigan is full of water, rivers, streams, lakes, and so I'm used to painting those, but the mountain streams are quite different. Huge boulders and the rush of the water coming down, especially this time of year as the snow melts. It's so revitalizing to have this rushing water, you know, the negative ions and the energy, the sound of the roaring water was just healing. And I'm trying to express that in some of the recent works that I'm doing of these mountain streams. I think it's rewarding when someone follows the whole body of work. I mean, it's also great when they have a piece in their home and just, you know, buy it because they love it. And if I'm tapping into something that's greater than myself, it's going to be the same thing in a sense, in an essential sense, to another person. It's different in experience, but the same spiritual source.